Okay, it looks like it's 5 o'clock on Tuesday, the 25th of February, right? Yep. Okay, behind me. This is week 7 of LDR 300. So we're really coming up on the end here, and this is a pretty exciting time. So let's take a look real fast at what we got going on. So I've got you up to speed on your grades. Take a look in gradebook. If you've got a 0 or no grade recorded, then that means I don't have something from you. Either you missed an exam or you didn't get something turned in. If you have turned something in or taken an exam and it's showing as a 0 or not graded in Moodle, then I need you to contact me and let me know what happened on your end so I can find out what happened on my end. But for those of you that got all your assignments in and everything done on time, you should be up to date. Okay? If you are working with me on getting some late work in, keep executing our plan as we discussed. And again, if you think there's something you need to get in, then we need to talk. And it's really going to have to be over the next week. Excuse me, because come the end of the 8th week, there is no time. Basically, I've got to have your grades within 4 days of the end of the course. So by Sunday, the 8th, you will have turned in your final paper. I've got 4 days to grade all those papers, calculate your final grade, get it in the system, okay? As I mentioned to you, what I like to do is I like to read your papers 3 times, 3 different evolutions of grading, not back to back, but I'll read once, check it for position statement, general organization, put it away, pick it up again, read it the second time, keying in on fragmentary sentences, grammatical errors, transition problems, logic errors, things of that nature, more detailed look. And put it away, and then I'll pick it up a 3rd time and read it with a view towards overall how effective was your paper and in comparison to your students. I don't grade on a curve, okay? Your work stands on its own merits. But I've noticed there are times where I may grade a paper a little bit easier than I normally would, or a bit harder than I normally would. Like any human, your instructors are vulnerable to moods as well. So what I like to do is give you good 3 readings, and that pretty much, I think, evens it out. I think it's very fair, okay? And then, but at least shows you I'll put the time in on what you've turned in. But what I like to do then is get that out to you with feedback, and get that to you in such a time as you've got pretty close to 24 hours to take a look at what I've done, review, and then let me know, okay? And then essentially, if I don't hear from anybody after I've sent out those exams and given about 24 hours. Certainly when it comes up to my deadline to get your grades turned in, then I'll submit your final grades. And then we move on from there. If we've got an issue with your paper or how I've graded it or some others, that 24 hours hopefully gives us enough time to go through the issue and make sure that we've got a good handle on what's going on, okay? All right, so week 7, I only gave you 1 question this week. So tomorrow, I want you to go into chapter 13, and we're gonna work a mission statement, okay? So key in on mission statement. What is it? How is it written? What does it contain? Very critical, very difficult for people to do. If you haven't done this, and you're not used to working with it or a vision statement, you'll find out it's very challenging. Okay, and not a lot of organizations get it right, I'm sad to say. And that's what we're going to find out. You're going to go in and you're going to find the mission statement of the current organization you work for. Okay, if you don't work for an organization right now, then I want you to pull the mission statement for the University of Mount Olive or of a church you attend. Okay, then I want you to answer whether or not most of the employees / members of that organization know the organization's mission statement. So, say you're, obviously a student at the University of Mount Olive, you pull the University of Mount Olive mission statement. Would you hazard a guess? How well do the employees of the University of Mount Olive know the organization's mission statement? How many of the of the academic body know it? Or how many people of the organization, okay? And then I want you to provide 2 ways, specific ways, that a leader in that organization can more effectively communicate the mission to both people inside and outside the organization, okay? So really not hard. This is just kind of a fun one, but what I want you to do is pick apart the mission statement, okay? The guys that, for those of you who have been in the military or serving in the military or serving in a public safety realm, say whether a police department, a fire department, you're very current, I think, and I'm sure you've done it numerous times, have worked mission statements, okay? The 5 W's come into play. Every good mission statement contains a who, a what, a where, a when, and a why. A mission statement will not contain a how. It never does, okay? So anyway, go in there, do your readings, key on mission statement, pull out a current one, share it with us, and then answer whether or not most people know it, and 1 or 2 ways that leaders can more effectively communicate the mission to people both inside and outside the organization. Once you've had fun with that and you've posted it, remember, don't forget your individual comments on 2 other fellow student posts due by Friday before midnight. Okay, last week, a bunch of you didn't do, a lot of you, most everybody got your post in, but you didn't post on anybody else's. And so I docked you some points for that. So if you got a little less than what you normally see, and you did not comment on your fellow students' posts, then that would explain what happened, probably. Okay, if you have a specific question, then certainly contact me and let me know. All right, your summary report, Insight 13.3 and 14.2. So we're already into almost the end of the text. I think after this week, you have 1 more chapter. I think we'll only go up to 15, right? Anyway, again, this should inform your effectiveness paper, which will be due next week, week 8. Okay, and then in week 7, we have a quiz. It's written. It's going to cover chapters 13 and 14. Same format, 10 questions, 5 true, false, 5 best answer. I'll cover quiz number 6 here in just a minute. But no surprises there. Okay, so scroll down here with me on week 8. So week 8, again, you've got your discussion forum. There's going to be a question or 2 for you to answer. I don't think I have that posted yet. I'm very confident I did not, right? So that'll come out in the next day or so. You're going to do your last self-reflective summary report, and you've got the exercises there. Yeah, 15.3. So you only got 1 to do next week. That becomes easier. And then the quiz, which will only cover chapter 15. I haven't written that quiz yet. But right now, I would tell you very safe to assume it'll follow the standard format. It will probably focus solely on chapter 15. I might sneak a question in there from another chapter, one that you would really already know, but I haven't decided yet. More to come on that. Okay, leadership effectiveness paper gets uploaded right here through Turnitin. I talked about Turnitin last week, so I shouldn't have to talk much more about that. Note what happens when you enter it in. In fact, one of your students already has hers in. Okay, Miss Beal's already uploaded hers. This is that similarity grade that I was mentioning to you. Again, it only tells you that it found similarity in the words of your paper with words in its database, whether that's another paper or a textbook. So if you have treated this like a research paper, which it is, and you have properly cited, then having a 44% similarity is perfectly fine. Okay, what you don't want is a 100%, which tells me you haven't done any writing. It's all lifted. And or a 0%, which means you didn't treat this like a research paper and you didn't even bring a definition in, okay? So it's a balance, all right? This is not, in and of itself, a plagiarism software, okay? It can do that, but it's also a little bit more robust. The key on this is go ahead and get your paper uploaded, and then get submitted, get it through the framework, okay? And you still got time. You can go back and edit it and re-upload and make changes, okay? I will not grade the paper until the submission time has expired, okay? And then whatever's in the system, whatever you've got uploaded is what I'm going to grade. If you don't have this paper uploaded in Moodle by the deadline, we're going to have some significant issues, okay? So let's try to do that. Looks like Miss Beal is the only one to have hers uploaded. Okay, well, good on you. I'm going to take a look at that here probably later. All right, so let's go through some slides here real fast. And let me see what I can share. All right, so a couple things. On the left was a pretty funny test, mental age assessment by the School of Psychiatry at Harvard University. Take your time and then read over each line. The average person over 50 cannot do it. This is this cat, this is cat, this is how cat, this is to cat, and on and on and on. Okay, then it tells you to go back and read the third word in each line. This is how to keep an old person busy for 40 seconds. Well, the problem with that is it only took me 40 seconds to read it. Anyway, a little bit of a funny one there for you. Saw this one, I liked it. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal, okay? That's a vision, okay? When you're looking at your mission statement and then you're developing your vision statement, remember the vision statement is where we want to be. 3 to 5 years out, it's a goal. It is something that we're going to ascribe to, something we want to attain. And with the mission statement as our start point, where we are now, and a good vision, which is where we want to be, then we have to fill in how we're going to get there. And that is your strategic plan. Okay, that strategic plan has to be real, okay? Has to be resourced, has to be thought out, has to be effective, any number of things. And then, of course, it has to be backed by action. Okay, you as a leader have to implement that plan. It's not enough just to come up with one. You get paid to get it done. Okay, so good stuff there. All right, written assignments we've talked about till I'm blue in the face. Oh, this is one for you. Okay, research paper. Revealing something that came to you in a dream is not research. Okay, just letting you know. I actually had that. And even though I was impressed with the citation, it wasn't gonna get there with me. Okay, homophones, making sure you're proofreading. Let's watch our word usage. Okay. All right, quiz number 6. Now we're back to some of our old ways again. I've got 4 of you that didn't take the exam. All right, a couple of you had a reason, and we're working through that. Hopefully everything's okay on your end. And if it is, and you're ready to get back on track, hey, drop me a line. Let me know, hey, you're back in battery and you're ready for me to provide some extensions in Moodle so you can get this past work done. Okay, 12 of you got scored A's, 100, which is phenomenal. Additional 4 of you got A minuses in the 90 realm, which is phenomenal. And a couple of you got B minuses and 4 didn't take. So the fastest time was 2 minutes, 56 seconds. So somebody out there is tearing it up. And slowest took 30 minutes, which is fine. You take the time you need. Okay, the reason that I key in on it is to get a sense of where we're at. I'm seeing not enough people have time to complete the exam, then I need. Excuse me. I apologize. Excuse me. If I see people need more time, then I need to go back and adjust the exam, or certainly adjust the time. Excuse me, I need to take a drink there. If people are getting it done in 2 minutes and 56 seconds and getting hundreds and everybody's passing, then obviously I made this thing too easy. Okay. So none of you missed a majority. It doesn't look like there was a majority that missed. Looks like question 3 gave us the most trouble, but that was only as a factor of 1, as opposed to questions 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. So pretty much even across the board. So looks like everybody did good. Okay. So what did question 2 offer to us? Okay, in interactive leadership, the leader favors a consensual and collaborative process, and influence derives from position relationships rather than power, position, power, and authority. That's true. Okay. Remember, position of power and authority predominantly is transactional in this case. Okay. You will do this, or I will arrest you. You will do this, or I will PT you. Okay. That would be an example of transactional leadership, which isn't a consensual and collaborative approach, to be sure. Okay. Stage 2 of personal diversity awareness. Again, getting back to the slides, that was on page 349, the 5 stages. As I mentioned, reading through your discussion questions, I think a lot of you rated yourselves lower than you probably are. Some of you had very compelling private stories. I would appreciate you sharing those. I learned a lot on it. I think most of the students did, so thank you. The key on it, and what I wanted you to take it away the most, is having a sense about you that you can readily observe where somebody is on that scale, and what he or she needs to do to come back from it. Okay. All right. Best answer, for obvious reason, and there may not be the perfect answer, but we are looking for the best one. And looks pretty easy. Okay, number 9, when followers admire a leader because he or she, because of the way he or she deals with them. The influence is based on referent power. Technically, that's pastor of your church, right? You admire or respect the pastor based on how he or she deals with you. Okay. All right, if there's no questions on that, let's move it along. So chapter 13 talks about creating vision and strategic direction. Again, talking about the domain of strategic leadership, we have that gap analysis. Remember, where are we now? Okay, your mission. Where do we want to be 3 to 5 years from now? Your vision. How do we get there? The strategy. Okay? The strategy then becomes, in many ways, the bailiwick of the managers of this organization, because the mechanisms for execution fall onto those managers. Okay, remember, managers typically have an inward focus, focused on providing order and control to the process. Okay, and so in this particular case, your leadership has taken a look at where they're at, assessed themselves via the measure of mission, looked at the strategy, figured out where we want to be 3 to 5 years out, have a suitable, relevant, observable mechanism to demonstrate our achievement of getting there or not. Okay? But again, the bailiwick for managers is going to be in what goes in that strategy. What are the resources? What's the PONAM? When do we provide certain types of hardware? When do we have to have our software engineers online? You know, any number of questions, okay? All right, but these become skills that are very critical for you to have or you to learn, okay? Vision, attractive, ideal future that is credible, yet not readily attainable. Okay, so then it goes through some examples. And yeah, moving towards the desired future. Okay, here a yellow star. Might make that a yellow flower. It could be almost anything. Okay, and stay in the course. So where are we? Where do we want to be? Okay. And it's all right here for you to take a look at. How the leader creates a vision. Okay, very basic stuff. But you got to learn that, and a lot of people don't know it. A lot of people have said they know it, but have forgotten it. Okay, some may have dumped it as soon as this course was over, which happens. Okay, some may have never learned it. Again, I usually say, you know, it's only a lot of reading if you do it. If somebody asks me how much of the book I've read, I usually show up both hands, indicating a lot, because I'm going to get assigned a lot. And if I'm not making fun, that means I'm probably tired. And then that probably means I'm also not articulating what I want. And I'm certainly not giving that subordinate the feedback he or she needs. So in the end, we need to not only know it for our own sake and our own abilities, but train our people right to develop out those parts of a mission and assist the leader in creating the vision, and then understanding what that mission does, fails to do. Okay, here I am sitting in University of Mount Olive. I'm assuming everybody's got access to coffee out there. And see if anybody wants to bring in and make some coffee for me? Probably not. Okay. Anyway, parts of mission. Okay. All good stuff. Okay. Noble leaders framework for noble purposes, and the like, and the elements of the strategy. Okay. So again, you're going to look at the mission for the discussion question, and then I'm going to probably turn you around, and we're going to talk about it from a framework of a vision statement as well. Okay. All right. Chapter 14 gets into shaping cultures and values. This is a great chapter. I'll tell you, you got some good stuff in this textbook. So what you're going to find out is there's a difference between cultures and norms, making sure you understand what those are. Okay. And then we're going to see a culture as represented as an iceberg. Okay. And it probably doesn't surprise you to know that there's more culture that can be seen above level than it is below level. And there's reason for that. People are going to hide or inspect it. Okay. But again, it gets into how much you want to spend and what you want to spend it on. Okay. All right. Talk about culture and norms, making sure you know what a norm is. Understand the difference between actual and desired values and behaviors. Okay, Exhibit 14.3 does a powerful job. You can see attention to values from low to high on the x-axis, and attention to business performance, low to high on the y-axis. Okay, X to the S or X to the S, Y to the sky. Okay, and then figure out what we want to do from there. And just telling you what high performance cultures do as opposed to what nobody does. Okay. All right. Ways that culture leaders can influence culture, and by extension, in many cases, day-to-day activity. Okay. One of the ways is for the student leaders to articulate a vision for the culture that employees can buy into. And that may mean having a side assault on one. What did I must have left it in, probably left it in the bag. Okay. Anyway, you don't need me to pull out mine. I know you got it. All right. Understanding ceremonies are planned activities that make a special event special for the audience. That does not mean we're going to spend days and days and days in a narrative based over true faith. But yeah, we'll see what we get. Okay. All right. Story, a beginning, a middle, and end, right? 4 types of culture. Hard to take a look at. Make sure you do. Spiritual leadership model. Okay, and I think you're in there. All right, look, I'm going to widen this thing up here. So nobody's dialed in. 8 weeks and still haven't. But let me leave you with something fairly funny. See if I can get it to work.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does a former drill sergeant make a terrible therapist?
That's why it never makes me sad, I think. That's interesting. You know what makes me sad?
You do! Maybe we should chug on over to Mamby-Pamby land where maybe we can find some self-confidence for you, you jackwagon!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Okay, anyway, I thought that was funny. All right. Hey, everybody, take good care of yourselves. We're getting towards the end, and keep up the good work, okay? All right, take care.